Hello and welcome to Rush Racing League, and it is time for Season 8 to continue. It's round 4 for Division 4, and it is time for the Bahrain Grand Prix. This is a fantastic circuit, 5.4 kilometers, usually 57 laps. We're going to be going for a few laps short of their times held at this Grand Prix in the real Formula 1 20, first held in 2004, the most wins here from Lewis Hamilton, most constructor wins here from Ferrari, has run every single year since the construction has happened in 2002, races held since 2004 with the exception of 2011 due to the Bahrain uprising. This is going to be a good circuit here. My name is George Cook. Also known as Crazy Good Kung Fu. I'm going to be joined in the commentary box by Bulldog Nick. Welcome into the comms box for Div 4, mate. Is he back? He may not be back. If he's not back, we're just going to continue. Welcome to everyone in chat, and a big thanks, of course, to our sponsors. And the main sponsor, of course, being AI369 Automated Highlight Reels. Go check them out, ai369.co.uk. And thanks to all our other sponsors as well. Pagnian, SimLabs, and Snation. I call them Snation, but it's actually S Nation. Nonetheless, welcome to everyone in chat. We're going to jump out because we've got a full qualifying session to get through. Mercedes have been dominant here in Division 4, and will we see that continue? Last week's winner, with a little bit of luck to his name, Pep for Mercedes, took the victory out at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Will that run of luck continue? We shall see. Let's jump over and jump in. So here we go. We've got our first laps coming in. At the moment, Williams leading the pack. Deadly Fuller with a 129.377. Very nice lap to start things off. 3/10 clear of his nearest competitor, the Kick Sauber driver, a replacement, a reserve this time for Kick Sauber. Hippie Slayer FTR is going to be the man in the seat today with a 129.691. Already beaten by Master in the Aston Martins. We saw how quick these guys were in round 2. Round 3, they weren't really on the board at all. Sad to say, 12th place finish for Ricciardo. Master was finishing in 14th place in Las Vegas. Apparently, Hippie Slayer is Carly, so it's actually Carly. He's just under a different name. Fantastic. Thank you, Two Door Gaming, for confirming that in chat. We'll remember that. So Carly, very impressive this season so far with the Kick Sauber team, but it is Master with the 128.1. Second driver to get into the 28 so far. Coming across the line in a few members' time. Nemesis in the RB. What can he do? No, he's just starting a proper lap. Nick, I think I introduced you a little bit ago, but welcome into the commentary box, mate. You going to be there this time? I'm not hearing Nick at all, so hopefully he's not having a problem at all. I think he's muted. He might have been muted.
I certainly was.
There you go. Muted. You were muted. Right, well, welcome to the comms box, mate.
I mean, I was in the comms box for the reserve program Thursday night, but it's good to be back for an actual division.
That's right, and a full one as well. 29 laps today and a full qualifying session too. So it's going to be a pretty exciting race. Have you watched any of the Div 4 action yet thus far?
No, because I've got a race this on Tuesday night.
There you go.
For Div 6.
Now you get to watch the excitement.
Oh, I mean, I do get to watch the excitement, but I'll also be watching a couple of drivers and seeing how they go. No names mentioned.
Don't want to commentators curse anyone too early in the session. I can completely
I don't want
to
commentate my. I don't want to commentate curse my my teammates.
There you go. Very sensible thing to
Janice Lee and Dan the Racer.
Well, you've mentioned them now. That's it. It's done. It's over.
That's not commentator curse, though.
In my experience, you never know when it crops up. You just don't. So we'll see. Fingers crossed, touch wood.
What are your thoughts for tonight's race?
Well, I think this
Who
is
do
a
you think?
fantastic circuit. We've got some straights, we've got some corners. The infield section's really, really good fun in Sector 2. And obviously the run through Sector 3, really, really high pace. So setup is, I think, really, really key at a circuit like this. You know, how are you going to run it? You're going to run it with lots of, well, at least enough downforce to make that Sector 2 absolutely matter. Or are you going to focus on the 4 main straights that we have here, essentially? So you've got main pit straight, which is the longest by far. Then after turn 1, a couple of corners through there, then another straight down in towards turn 4, and then the back straight just before the last corner. So you've got a middle straight in the Sector 2. So I don't know, setup's going to be really interesting this time, I think.
And not only that, though, like as you said, setup's going to be the key, but you've also got to think to yourself as well, the DRS into in Sector 1, then you got a DRS in Sector 2, and then obviously the main straight DRS.
Yeah. It is going to be a really important strategy call here for the teams today. And Div 4 has been notoriously good at having teams work together, especially in qualifying, to try and achieve some results. I can't see any teams working together just as yet out on track, but I'm sure that's set to change, and it'll depend a little bit on where they qualify for the race. But you're absolutely right. I mean, you're going to have a back and forth situation with a lot of these drivers. They lose a position through Sector 2, maybe running a lower wing downforce, a low downforce setup, and then they gain it right back once they get into that main straight.
Yeah, and the interesting thing just then was we actually had T. Salmons. He went out on a set of the hard compound tires.
Very interesting. So that's a pretty bold move, I must say. Whether or not it'll pay off for him, I guess we'll figure that out.
He did come in. He did go out on the hard compound tires, but then he's just done the outlet and he's came in. Maybe just checking. He doesn't. No one has a qualifying ban, so that's very interesting to see that he did go out on those tires.
That's right. I mean, we'll see exactly what the strategy here. Luckily, we do have a long qualifying session, 8.5 minutes in Q1. Then we've got, I think, what is it, 12 minutes in Q2, and then a shorter.
I think it's like, if I'm not mistaken, it's 18 minutes Q1. I think it's like 12 minutes Q2, and then it's like 10 minutes Q3.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense. So we've got a long qualifying session here, so plenty of time for a lot of these drivers to get in the window, get out there and get a good time. And at the moment, that cutoff point is sitting around the high 129s, which I think that's going to drop quite a lot in this qualifying session.
Yeah, at the moment, it's a 129.966 is the cutoff. So at the moment, Potsy in the Ferrari and bloody who cares in the kick are on the brink of being eliminated from this qualifying session.
Yeah, so they're going to have to get out there pretty soon. Got a lot in the pits at the moment. Wogjet's down on P13, not a place that we'd expect him to traditionally be. Dynasty Sparrow's out there on a hot lap right now, by the looks of it, so we'll keep an eye on his time. So that 28.1 from Master, still holding really strong. Only 8 hundredths or 600ths of a second, I should say, or thousandths of a second, if I get my math right, Nick, between P1 and P2 right now. And the qualifying has been, I mean, I don't want to say abnormally close, but it's been extremely close between the Division 4 guys. They're all separated by absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, at the moment, there's 5 drivers within that 128 mark, and make it a further driver in Dynasty Sparrow who has done a 128.634, putting himself P5.
It's impressive stuff, and I think we're going to see a lot more 28s this session come through, especially from what is the bottom or 7th position down, Gags KK from RB. He needs to put another lap. He's in the pits at the moment. 6 minutes still on the clock, so plenty of time to get out there for a couple of sessions, get a couple of really good hot laps in there. We're on board with Jeneth, the Alpine driver. The Alpines have had an up and down season in Div 4. It's not been going their way, really, at the end of the day. They need to find some really good consistency through the remainder of the season to kind of keep their championship hopes and driver hopes alive. But Janeth has put in some good performances, and I believe we have got a reserve driver for the Alpines this week, Dan the Racer, jumping in.
I think so. I mean, there is a possibility that after this round, I'm pretty sure it's after this round or the next round. There could be a possibility for Dan the Racer to become a full-time driver for the Alpine team.
Good that you say that, because we've got confirmation in chat by Kay Swiffer. Dan is now full-time. He's officially full-time for Alpine.
That is right. That is right. Sorry, I'm
Yep.
wrong. He is now full-time because I should know that. I'm an Alpine driver myself. It just like went straight over my head. But yeah, I mean, there has been a lot of changes in the Alpine garage. I can say that much.
Yeah. Seems to have been a little bit volatile. But nonetheless, good to have Dan the Racer in Div 4, and he'll be backing up Janeth. A lot of potential, I think, in the Alpine team for Div 4, as well as across the entire division structure here at Rush Racing. So do want to see the Alpine team put in some good performances. Bahrain might be a place they can start to work their way back into the championships. We shall see. Just on board with Deadly Fuller. He's coming across the line now to start another hot lap. We've got Sammy the Slammer. He has retired the car for the session. Thinks he's got a good enough time. Doesn't have to worry about it. Really, really close to that 27 mark, which I do feel like we're going to see. Weather conditions here looking a little bit overcast, Nick. What's your interpretation of the sort of... Well, obviously it's later at night, so it's going to be cooler temps, but it looks a little overcast there. Maybe my eyes are deceiving me.
Oh, I mean, looking at it from like the pit view, it does look a bit overcast, but I mean, it's the desert. Anything could happen.
Anything could happen in the desert. You heard it here first, folks. I don't think that's been said more than a million times before, but but at Bahrain, certainly anything can happen. So, Nick, give us your take on Bahrain as a circuit. You've driven here. You know the circuit very well. What's the trick to making Bahrain work?
I mean, it's all about tire strategy, and also fuel strategy. Because you got to think to yourself, and I cannot say this enough: the soft tires will not work. They will die very, very quickly.
Yeah.
The best strategy for obviously this track is gonna be either a medium hard or a hard medium, depending where you're starting on the grid.
Yeah.
What's your take on this one?
Well, I would agree. I mean, I don't think I've seen, especially in the real life Formula One, I mean, the soft tires can be an option. Depends a lot on what's happened to you in that first lap. Have you had a good start? Have you not? Have you had an accident? Do you have damage? You need to catch up some time. Sometimes you might be able to get away with using the softs for a short amount of time. But to be honest, I think you're absolutely right. You've got to take a more conservative approach to a place like this. It's going to be, a mix between very cold temperatures, because it is a nighttime race, and there's going to be a lot of tire deg as well. So there's going to be a lot of tire degradation that they're going to need to worry about, and especially when it comes to that infield section, lots of medium to high-speed corners that are going to wear out those tires. So they're just going to need to run a pretty conservative race, I think.
Now, the other thing that the drivers need to be aware of is, if I'm not mistaken, it's turn 10. The tight corner in sector 2 there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A lot of drivers tend to overshoot that corner. They tend to go extremely wide. As we see, Wogjet has set a purple sector 2. He's going to be coming across the line any moment now. What can he do here? Current best time is a 1:28.773. Stays P7 with a 1:28.701.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an improvement there from Wogjet. He had a pretty okay lap for the most part. Bit of a lock-up in a couple of places. Yeah, as you said, that turn 10 catches people out massively. You're sort of coming through turn 9. You've got a lot of momentum on the car. You're swinging it to the outside right of the corner, and then you have to suddenly get it braked and get it slowed down and get it turned in. It's quite a sharp corner, that. And then because it's the only straight in sector 2, you need to be on the power as soon as possible. So it's really all about how violently you can get that front end to bite and to get it turned in. Otherwise, you're not going to have the angle that you need to make it through. So quick update from around the grid. We've got a couple of sector cautions. One sector caution there by Quali in the kick Sauber, going rather slow at the moment. Just trying to stay out of the way as we head towards the final bit, because we've got some checkered flags out. That's the end of Q1. So the final people on some final laps. We've got about 8 cars to come across the line, including the 2 RBs, the Red Bulls, in 17th and 18th place right now. T. Salmons and Matty AU. Absolutely critical part of this time for them. If they do not get this lap done, they are going to be out. So let's take a look. Through the final corner goes Matty AU. Can he pull something out of his hat? Will it be a good enough lap to get him out of the elimination zone? Keep an eye here. Across the line we go. Maximum revs up into 7th. And here we go. It is a good lap. It's up for P10. Excellent stuff there by Matty AU. But what can his counterpart do? We've got a Haas coming across the line in a few moments. Flying Kiwi, I think, already securing his position. Yet gets across nicely. No position change there for the RB. Final corner here. Deployment being used to the absolute maximum. T. Salmons across the line. What's he going to do? It's good enough for 14th. He's in the drop. He's not in the drop zone anymore. Now I think it is bloody who cares. Potentially coming across the line. He's good enough for P19, but he'll still be eliminated in this drop round. Nemesis Cruz comes across the line. P6 for him. Panic for McLaren stays P11, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is your qualifying 1, and that is a drop zone.
And I've just realised that Jenneth Lee has come across the line. P15. He is literally safe by 2/10.
Ooh. That is a close call for the Alpine driver, Jenneth, but he's done very, very well right at the last part of Q1. Manages to sneak his way into Q2. So there we go, 15th place for Jenneth. Very nice work, both the McLarens getting themselves in. So we will have a quick look at the final results for qualifying 1. And we will then move on with the rest of the results. So, of course, that's Master in P1 at the moment, 28.1 there. And then Sammy the Slammer, Pep for Mercedes. And then we got Ricciardo for Aston Martins. The Aston Martins looking very strong here today. Then it is Carly for Sauber. The Visa Cash RB, Nemesis Cruz up in P6 ahead of Dynasty Sparrow, who we would expect to see a little bit further up the grid, but maybe doing a little bit of sandbagging. We shall see. You know, these Mercedes chaps. Nonetheless, 5 drivers will leave us, and we will continue and have qualifying 2.
We actually will have those 5 drivers in Dan Racer, Fat Eagle, Bloody Who Cares, Evil Blade, and Gags joining us in the commentary box very, very soon.
We will indeed, and I'm sure you will help me out by managing through some of that, and do let me know when we have them in. By the way, welcome to everyone in chat. Lovely to have you here for Division 4 coverage. Season 8, it's Bahrain Grand Prix, and Division 4 continues with a big, big bang. And now we've got 15 minutes of qualifying 2 to take you all through. We'll wait for our driver interviews. The bottom 5 will be jumping into the live comms box in a few moments' time, and we will get those interviews started. For now, 15 minutes of qualifying 2 starts now. Nick, your thought on Q1 there? A few drivers probably going to be a bit disappointed with their performance.
I mean, yeah, no, like, obviously, knowing a few of these drivers, obviously, I know Gags, as I was teammates with him last season at Haas. He would be absolutely disappointed, because he was one of those drivers that didn't you could say, didn't want anyone talking whatsoever.
Mm.
He needed that pure silence. Evil Blade, he would be disappointed with his finish, and the other driver would be Fat Eagle,
That's right.
being like starting where he is on a track like this.
The course correction from myself earlier on, both McLarens not through, just Panic making it through into Q2. So that's just a little FY there, a little correction for myself. We're watching Pep in his Mercedes AMG on the outlap, just coming through the end of Sector 2 at the moment. And Pep has really been on fire this season so far. Claims he had a little bit of luck and a penalty involved in his win last time out at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. But Mercedes have been incredibly strong. Started off the season with a big 1-2 at Monza. Absolutely massive points for them. Big contenders for them is going to be Aston Martin this season, looking strong. So keep a very, very close eye on Master and Ricciardo.
The first one to set a lap in this Q2 session will be that of Dynasty Sparrow. What can he do here? He's the first one to set a lap. Goes into turn number 3 or 4. I can't exactly remember which one it is. Does a sector 1 of 28.6. Now, comes into that very, very tricky turn 9, turn 10. Can he take it smoothly? Let's wait and see. Yes, he does. Oh, clips the curve there. But hits the power very, very nicely. 47% ERS. He's not going to have very much ERS left at the end of the lap. On a set of the soft compound tyre, what do you think the time will be?
Oh, I think it'll be 28s. I mean, bad exit through turn 10. Didn't really get the power down. Car looks a little bit squiggly. We've been told that he's on old softs. So these are not fresh tyres. Fastest lap at the moment, 128.2. Ricciardo goes across the line, 28.8. For Nemesis, let's see what Dynasty Sparrow have been on board for a full lap with him on this hot lap. Let's see what he can do. It's a 29.1. So actually completely outside of our predictions there, Nick. It's a 29.
Yeah, I mean, very, very interesting. And to be honest, I didn't blame him for doing the old compound. Because the way I think of it is, if I make it into Q2, I'm going to set a lap on the old softs to have that that time, like that sector time. Even yet, if it is slow as to, like, hypothetically saying Dynasty Sparrow 129.1, he's now got that sector time there where he can now go back into the pits, chuck a fresh set of softs on, and go again, and go quicker.
That's right. And a good bank lap at the end of the day, right?
It is, exactly. The interesting thing is, Deadly Follow and Blind Kiwi both have set laps on the medium compound tyre.
Yeah, now that is interesting. Now, you might be able to explain this better than I would, because I'm still a little bit new to how the game operates, but what's the advantage of using the medium tyres in this situation?
I mean, the advantage to using the medium compound tyre is obviously you're getting the feel for the medium compound tyre in the race. You're getting the opportunity to feel how those medium tyres are. You're getting the opportunity to feel whether or not you want to use them in the race.
So it's essentially a way to test the water, dip your toe in, see what it feels like. get an idea. You've got plenty of time in Q2 to still go back out there on the soft tires. You're getting a bit of familiarity with how things are looking. And sorry for a second, we just had a little bit of a loading screen there. And a few more times coming in as well, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I am currently just trying to invite one driver back.
All right, we will wait for that to happen. In the meantime, we're going to go for an onboard lap with Matty AU, driving for Red Bull, of course. So let's see how he does through turn 8. Does have a little bit of a lock-up on entry. Gets going again. Nice acceleration out of that corner into the tricky part. Turn 9, get it to the outside, get it turned in, avoid that inside curb, get on the power nicely. He does so incredibly well. Power getting put down through the rear axle beautifully by Matty AU. So looking like a bit of a flyer at the moment. Into turn 11, long left-hander, got a lot of runoff area. Need to pull it back over to the left-hand side before you hit the S's of 12, and then into 13. Late apex on this one. Want to line it up for that long straight all the way down to turn 14. A little bit of oversteer on exit there for Matty AU. Not going to help his cause. Remember, he needs to set a lap time now and put in a good banker. Final corner. Does have another little bit of a lock-up on the entry of the corner. Gets it all sorted out through the apex, though, and down we go towards the finish line. Let's see what the time is. It's good enough for P8 to 1:29.2. Nicely done there by Matty AU. He will need to go a bit faster, I think, at the end of the session to keep himself in contention for Q3.
And I'm currently on board with Hippie Slayer FTR, currently coming through Sector 2, almost about to finish that Sector 2 position, 107.151. So he is looking at a rough time of the 129s.
Let's see what he does. Through the last corner we go. Remember, this is Quali, from what we've been told. Kick Sauber comes up from Div 5 for this season. Finds himself in P11. Nick, that's just not going to be good enough.
Ooh, yeah, I mean, at the moment, he is... like... 49 hundredths of a second behind that of Wogjet.
Now, we may be seeing a little bit of a warm-up lap for him there. Is he going to come into the pits this time? Is he going to go again? Is this another push lap that we're seeing him on now?
I mean, he is currently 6/10 down on his previous time, so he could have been on an old set of the soft compound tyres from Q1.
Big lock-up through into turn 10 for Carly. That's Hippie Slayer. And he's got this long straight in the middle of Sector 2 to navigate. Then turn 11, which looks like all sorts of good fun. Nice long runoff area. Just got to make sure you get the nose turned in correctly through the first part of it so you can go back onto max throttle. Now turn 13 and into the fun zone here, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, the very front zone of Sector 3. But we do have, obviously, one other driver out on track at the moment. That's the Alpine of Jenneth Lee on an outlap. He is going to be starting his lap in any moment now as he comes down the final straight. So let's see. He is currently 4/10 behind of Wogjet in P10. He's currently in the drop zone. So let us wait and see, ladies and gentlemen, as to what he can do.
That's right. And he is only 1.5 tenths away from the current drop zone. P11 and down will get eliminated from Q2. Only 4.5 minutes now to go in this session. And a 29.45 from Jenneth is not going to be good enough for the cutoff right now. He needs to get at least 3 tenths to really secure it. More would be preferable at this stage. So he's going to have a really good run. Is the only car out on track right now. Everyone else in the pits waiting for that final moment. And they'll kick out and do their outlaps and get that final lap going. So keep an eye here. But he is slowed down massively. And that is going to be lap over. I think he might just be waiting and maybe getting the tyres back into the zone there.
I wonder if he's thinking that it was an improvement. So he's obviously slowed down to to take the to recapture the ARS and all that kind of stuff and go again.
Gonna have to, but I mean, he's only at 36% ERS as he rounds the final corner onto the main straight. So will he come in? I think he will. So we've got a few others.
Yes.
So he'll do a reset there. But we do have Quali and Panic back out for Kick Sauber and McLaren respectively, and also Flying Kiwi for Haas. So he's another driver. He's right at the bottom of the drop zone right now in P15. The 129.7 puts him nearly 4.5 tenths away from getting out of the drop zone. So this is going to have to be a flying lap from the Flying Kiwi.
It certainly will. And I mean, Flying Kiwi is pretty quick, and honestly, I could say the McLaren driver of Panic 83, he is absolutely washed. I mean, a 129.4. He could go quicker than that. I've just noticed Janice Lee maybe is going to try the medium compound tyre.
Interesting. So he may have just said, look, I'm not going to go any faster as it is. We're going to go out there. We're going to practice the medium run, see what it feels like out on a circuit like this. In the meantime, Flying Kiwi is coming across the start-finish line, and he will start what may be, and what will in fact be, his last flying lap of this qualifying. Interesting to hear the opinions around the McLaren driver Panic. We know he can go a heck of a lot faster than he is at the moment. P12, very unusual place to see Panic in a McLaren. We're usually used to seeing him up there in the top 5, but I do understand he was on old tyres. So there we go. Nick's saying washed. We're saying maybe it's something else. I don't even know. I don't know the history. But I'm a McLaren fan, so you worked me the wrong way.
I mean, knowing Panic and his TP in Marzi, they're both washed.
All right, some interleague politics starting to arise here, and opinions that unfortunately I'm just not experienced enough yet within Rush Racing League to comment on. Go McLaren. I'm a McLaren fan eternally, so I'm hoping that Panic can make sure he pulls out a good lap on this last one. Maybe he's just trying to lure you into a false sense of security, Nick. We shall see. In the meantime,
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's entirely possible. We shall see. We do have a lot of cars out on track right now. The Mercedes looking like they're lining up to go for a final run together. That's going to be really good teamwork by the two. We have Flying Kiwi coming across the time. He has gone P1 for Flying Kiwi. That is a lap and a half for 28.181 from last place, P15, to first place in this qualifying session. He is going to be absolutely stoked with that. That is a fantastic lap by the Kiwi driver.
Now, the interesting thing here is there is only one driver that has decided enough's enough. And that's Ricardo in P2.
Yep. And 28.2 is a pretty good time. He will be pretty secure on that. But we shall see. I mean, if Flying Kiwi's able to do a 28.1, we will keep a very close eye on this qualifying session. Div 4 has always kept us guessing, and we are going to be guessing even more for the remainder of this session.
Comes a lot across the line with a 1:28.297, putting himself P3.
Whoa. You know what? I think Ricardo's going to be in the pits going, I wonder if I should have gone out for that final lap, because these times coming in are really quick. T. Salmons across the line, bags P10, a 28.7 is the cutoff as it is right now, and then a 28.5 for Deadly Fuller.
The interesting thing is here is Cozzi in the Ferrari in P7. Cannot settle up because he's invalidated.
Yep, and we've got Wogjet. Wogjet has come across the line. P14 for Wogjet. Has been contending for race wins in the previous few races. And that's the fastest lap, 27.7 by the other half. Sammy the Slammer comes in, slams the door on absolutely everyone else on the grid. And that is 4.5 tenths clear of our previous leader, Flying Kiwi. No one is safe in this qualifying session, Nick.
slams the door on his own teammate.
Pep goes P2.
And
It's a 27.8.
Oh my lord, you could say Pepper thought to himself, alright, I'm gonna try and split these two Haas drivers and go P2.
Wow, oh wow,
Very,
oh wow.
very interesting.
Agreed, and Panic has decided he's going to put the car in the pit lane. P12, he's out. So that is going to be Kotze for Ferrari, Panic for McLaren, Red Bull driver T. Semmons, Wogjet for Williams out of the session, and Jenneth for Alpine also. Deadly Fuller just scrapes in P10 with a 128.5. Fastest lap, Sammy the Slammer, take a bow. A 127.7 puts Pep to shame, and the Haasers are on fire right now.
Yes, and I could say at the same time, I would like to thank our on-board steward for this moment in the governor himself for helping us get these drivers in for an interview. Obviously, none of them wanted to join from Q1. Let's see if we will have any of them join from Q2.
Absolutely. So Kotze, Panic, T. Salmons, Wogjet, and Jenneth, we would love to have you guys jump into the comms box.
Give me 2 seconds. I will get Jenneth into the comms box.
Fantastic. We will hope to have a good chat to him, and we now barrel towards the top 10 shootout. Q3 will begin in a few moments' time. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a seriously exciting qualifying session. Division 4 never fails to provide the exciting racing out on track. And we're only in qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. Just wait, we've got a 29-lap race ahead of us for this division. And the Haas cars showing that they've got some serious pace. This is going to be an exciting Q3 to determine the top 10.
Yeah, obviously, I've just jumped into the Alpine chat. Oh,
here we go. We do
have our first in Wogjet.
We do indeed.
How are you this evening, Wogjet?
What's going on, boys?
G'day.
What did you think of your performance?
Got a little bit too throttle happy, mate, and a bit sideways. That ruined me. I was up over a second. Anyway, it is what it is, mate. You know, my quali pace has always been how you going, because I don't like to push 110%, and that's exactly why, because things like that happen. So I'll just leave it to the main race and see how we go.
I mean, what are you thinking of, obviously, like, starting from
14.
From 14s? Are you thinking to yourself, okay, can I overtake? Can I, what's your strategy going into the race?
No, I can't give out too much information there, mate. You know, got all these other guys listening.
Smart answer.
Understandable.
Just gonna have to wait and see, mate.
So we now know Bulldog's official F1 personality, and that is inquisitive journalists. I think is going to be the phrase. Sensible answer there, Wogjet. Mate, Bahrain. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it just about your qualifying pace? We know how quick you've been in the Williams this season. You know, some races not gone your way. Last couple of races were looking a lot better. 14th, not a great place to start, but you know, mid-pack here, you might be able to stay out of the action.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Look, Bahrain, I don't mind it. It's quite easily to get a bit out of control here, so you just got to be a bit patient on the throttle, exiting some of these corners, and I'm just going to stay persistent, and yeah, hopefully top 10. That's my goal.
Excellent. Well, we wish you the best of luck today in the race. Commiserations for being kicked out in Q2, but thanks for jumping in for an interview with us, and yeah, keep it on the tarmac.
Thank you, boys. Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
All right, so what do we think of that, Nick? He's not got a lot of confidence in his qualifying pace, but we know how quick Wogjet is. Come on. I think Nick might be just doing a couple of things on the side. We are doing a quick onboard with Ricciardo. Remember, you can redeem onboard laps with your favorite drivers, so we will be keeping a close eye on that in chat. So go and get those redemptions going for full laps on board with your drivers. And we're going to look forward to a fantastic qualifying session here, Q3. 9 minutes to go. And Reckless Racing with the quote of the session so far. This is a Haster class. Certainly has been in Q2. We'll see if that's set to continue in Q3. And then, of course, you've got the race. So whether or not you get through qualifying doesn't really matter once the race starts. So we shall see 29 laps around here with a whole big emphasis on fuel management and tire management strategy calls. Going to be absolutely key in a race like this today. At the moment, I think my money's probably going to be on these Mercedes chaps. They are running together very, very close on track, using that slipstream right now. Pep is the lead car. He is dragging Dynasty Sparrow around the grid. Ricciardo does do his first lap, and it's a fast one. It's a 28.1, not yet close to what we saw in Q2, a 27.7. So the 27s are going to be the familiar territory here, I suspect, today. And yes, remember, use your channel points, get yourself a full onboard lap. That was a little teaser with Ricciardo. Dynasty Sparrow goes to the top with a 27.89. Nick, over to you.
Yeah, obviously he did get the tow from his teammate in Pep. So I wonder now if Pep is, or if Dynasty Sparrow is going to do the same thing with Pep and give him the tow, and then see if he can get the fastest lap.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's going to be an important aspect of the teamwork, unless Pep's just said, you know what, Dynasty, it's all about you today. It's entirely possible. But usually it is a you scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of situation for the most part. New results coming in, and two very low 128s for the Haasers. So right now it's not a Haaster class going on at the moment, but P3, P4 for them, and some really good low times in the low 28s. Master for Aston Martin comes in with a 27.9. Bear in mind, we're only a couple of minutes into the session. Sector 2 yellow there. I think that's the slow Mercedes waiting up for his teammate. So that is Dynasty Sparrow, nice and slow out on track, waiting for Pep to catch up to him, and it'll be Pep's turn for the slipstream this time. Those Haasers are looking really quick. Slammer and Flying Kiwi absolutely on it today.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, also another one just to set a time of 129 flat is Matty AU, only P9.
So the 29 is not going to be good enough for a Q3 session. Remember, the cutoff for Q2 was a 28.5, so we need to really see times at least that quick. Bear in mind, probably on used tyres, most of these guys have had a lap on them already. I think Ricciardo might be coming out on a fresh set of softs in a moment's time to start his out lap. 6 minutes to go. Nick, predictions, thoughts? Who do you think we're going to see on top? Haster class, or is it back in Mercedes arena?
I think it's going to be close. I mean, between obviously the Mercedes and the Haas. I mean, send me the Slammer, Flying Kiwi, 128 flat, 121, 115. So only give and take 2 to 3 tenths behind that of Dynasty Sparrow, who has set a 127.893. You cannot put it past Dynasty Sparrow tonight.
That's right. Mercedes and their teamwork is going to be a fierce competitor. But bear in mind, I don't think there was a lot of teamwork going on between the Hassers when they got their low 27s or medium-high 27s in the previous qualifying. So they're still definitely on for a potentially fantastic result. We're being asked in chat, a poll for poll. Well, we can certainly do a poll for poll here in the commentary box. But I think it might be a bit of a biased poll. It's going to be 50-50, isn't it? We're each going to choose a different person and 50-50.
I mean, the only way that we could do a poll for poll is the man himself, Mr. SJ, if you want to put a poll out for us.
Well, we've only got 4 minutes to get it done, so it'll have to be a very short poll. But let us know in chat, who do you guys think is going to get pole position as we wait for all the cars to go in the grid and get their new tyres on. They'll be coming out in a minute or so time. Got to vote for Sammy, got to vote for Pep. Oh, yes. It's already 50-50. Yeah, I like it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and bear in mind as well, 5 laps towards the end of the race, the last 5 laps, we will be getting a Driver of the Day nomination from myself and Nick, and then also you guys in chat will be giving us a nomination, and we will get a poll up.
We do actually have. We've got a prediction started.
Oh, we've got a
ladies
prediction
and gentlemen.
started. There we go. Fantastic. All right, who's on the bill for that?
We have Master Suck, Dynasty, Sammy the Slammer, and Pet,
Oh,
as well
okay.
as Hippie Slayer and None.
Oh, okay. Where's Flying Kiwi on this? I think Flying Kiwi is flying under the radar a bit here in terms of prediction. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, in chat right now, on the Twitch chat, hit that button at the top of your chat window. Get a prediction in. Keen to see what the results are going to be. By the way, Two Door Gaming, you can't have 2 votes, mate. You can't park there. Sorry, that's just unacceptable.
Yeah,
mate.
no,
Unbelievable.
you can't park there. But at the moment, the current vote is Master Suck with 36%, Dynasty with 1%, Sammy the Slammer 32%, Pet with 13%, and Hippie Slayer with 19% of the vote.
Ooh, that's closer than I thought it was going to be. That's fantastic. I think, at the end of the day, Div 4 has been the unpredictable division. We're going to be on board now. First flying lap out there is going to be Ricciardo for Aston Martin. He heads now down towards turn 4. Does have a little bit of a lockup on entry. Gets it nicely smoothed out through the apex. And down we go through the S's. Turns 5, 6, 7. And into that tricky braking zone of turn 8, Nick. It's so difficult to get right.
Yeah, not only that, but he was 85 hundredths of a second up on his previous time, putting himself purple sector 1. What can he do? I think at the moment he could get a toast from his teammate.
This could be it. So down the back straight, we are now in sector 2, down towards turn 11. Slight decline, slight camber into the apex of the corner, gets it done nicely, uses the outer curb just that little bit. Maybe a little bit too much. We shall see what the sector 2 time is. In a few moments' time, it's a negative 0.016. He's right on the money, and he is going to get a bit of a tow from his teammate. Master is right there, and this is going to be a fantastic bit of teamwork by these two. Turn 14, turn 15. Little bit of slipstream is going to help him out massively. Gets it turned in really nicely through the last corner. What's it going to be for Ricciardo? He's going to go to the pits. What a disappointment.
Interesting. Very, very interesting there. As he was.
He faked us out.
1.
He faked us out.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Oh.
But we go on board with Master Suck. Into sector 1, he did give his teammate a bit of a tow there. But obviously Ricciardo will not have enough time to come back out. He's 11 hundredths of a second up on his previous best. It's not going to put him anywhere near Dynasty Sparrow in P1.
Very strange set of circumstances evolving out on track. We've got a number of people out there now, including several on their outlaps. We're watching Master at the moment, coming down the back straight, just come out of turn 10. Looks to be pretty clean and stable so far. He's in contention for taking pole position here today, currently in P2 with a 27.9. That needs to be in the range of a 27.7 or below to really lock in that P1 slot, but it's all up in the air at the moment. In Q3 for Division 4, they've got 2 Mercedes coming across the line. Expect a couple of times in from them in a few seconds.
At the moment, Master Suck is looking at going P1 with a 127.7.
And he's done it. It's actually a 27.537. Aston Martin goes to the top of Q3 dominantly by nearly 4 hundredths or 4 tenths, I should say, of a second. What a lap there from Master. Those of you who put some prediction points on him are going to be very pleased with seeing that. That said, Mercedes on a bit of a charge. We're going to have believe it is going to be Flying Kiwi comes across the line. P3 for him. It's in the 27s. Nemesis comes across the line. P4 for him. 7 thousandths of a second just above the 27 mark. Sammy the Slammer is on a bit of a lap at the moment too. Deadly Fella comes across the line, locks in P9. Through the last corner, we've got Quali just ahead of him, but it is Sammy the Slammer. He's looking for a fast lap. What can he do? Can he get the Haas's back up there? He can. It's P2, a 27.615 from the Haas driver.
And not only that, but you think to yourself, Dynasty Sparrow sitting there in currently P3 as he comes down one of the straights into last corner. He is getting a bit of a tow from his teammate in Pep. Can he put himself back into P1? Let's wait and see. He comes across the line. It's a 127.8. Only going P4.
And Dynasty Sparrow's not able to improve, so he locks in P4. Pep has beat him to it. 2 cars in the 27.6s. No one is able to eclipse Master in the Aston Martin at the moment. Ricciardo has retired from the session, and that is it, unless... Nope, there's no more to be said. There's no more laps to be done, and it's Master for Aston Martin who takes it. What a lap, a 27.5 to get pole position for the 29-lap race we have ahead of us here in Division 4. What a qualifying there, Nick.
Yeah, what a qualifying, man. Very, very interesting qualifying session there. And it was actually great to see those drivers.
Certainly was. Prediction results went to, I believe, Master as well, so that is a whole bunch of qualifying points. We've got an investigation as well into Ricciardo. He retired on track in Q3, so there will be an investigation there. Looks like we've got some other stuff. Dynasty Sparrows making a mention as well, and we'll be going straight into things. Hopefully everything is all sorted and ready to go, because the race is going to be starting very, very soon. The Mercedes got a lot of work to do, and we've got a lot of work for the Williams to do. Alpine as well. They tested out the mediums, might have a little bit of an advantage, Nick, going into this. We shall see. I'm not even sure we're going to have time for further interviews, but we've got, top 3 usually coming in here to talk about their qualifying laps. I would love to have a quick chat to them, but I think we're going to be moving rapidly into the race, mate.
I think so. I mean, they're going to be wanting to think to themselves, well, I just want to concentrate on my race.
Yeah.
I don't want to be talking about my qualifying, all that kind of stuff. It's time to hook in.
Exactly
It's time
right.
to concentrate.
They
It's
certainly don't
time
want to be
to-
talking to a McLaren fan and an Alpine driver, that is for sure.
Well, you could say that. But the big question is, are you gonna maybe get into the seat?
Oh, well, that is another question. I'm a bit of a washed-out sim racing driver, but
Hey,
we've got
you
no
never
time
know,
to
you
talk
could-
about that. Here we go. I don't
You
know if
got
there's a
5 red
problem.
lights.
I think we're going to be a red flagging this. We're going to try and get a screenshot of the qualifying order as it
Roger.
is. Got
Got it.
issues already.
I've got it.
Got it. We are red flagging the session. Ladies and gentlemen, we are red flagging the session. So we will be back in a few moments' time. Stay tuned. We will be back. But it is a red flag for Division 4 as we head to the race so we can get some drivers back on the grid. We'll be back. See you in a few moments' time.